Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. This is our Twitch recap from last Sunday's live stream, where we are continuing testing on our new crewed vehicle, the name which will be announced shortly. We have this new launch escape system, because the original one was woefully inadequate. This one is made by Simulation Gaming, specifically for this particular vehicle, so let's go outside and give it a test run.
Aren't those the only two that matter? Everything else, it should work just fine because the TWR is always pretty low. Alright, I should have put 6 Kerbals in here for a more accurate weight simulation. Alright, so we're just going to go straight to the abort part. So, abort. Oh yes, that is awesome. And then key 0. Pulls the shroud away, ejects the fairings. And arms the chutes. They should go out. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Brilliant. I'd say that works. Do we have a chute that's not in full deploy? I mean, we probably should. I guess the drogues. Did I actually just hit spacebar? Nope, things are exploding. That's what the lags is about. You had like 10 million a few months ago. How did this happen? I know. I spent it all running simulations for days of previous iterations of this thing in low Earth orbit. And you know that one time that I accidentally simulated the entire rocket into orbit. Scorpio, how's it going? They will deploy. Oh, I had no doubt they would deploy. I just, you know, Twitch lied to me and showed me that you're offline. What the hell, Twitch? Hey, that's a nice gentle-ish touchdown. Make sure, yeah, we're at full weight. Everything should be, because, yeah, I never unloaded it. Excellent. Revert to the VAB. That worked out. I'm glad that worked out real well. Excellent.
And back now into the VAB, where we did have some final integration testing as far as the launch vehicles is concerned. This new launch escape system comes in somewhere shy of 24 tons, I believe, and 100 plus parts. Due to the magic of Ubizor welding mod and Simulation Gaming taking the initiative, the launch escape system has been reduced to less than 10 parts, I believe. Might even be less than 5 parts. There were some issues with the procedural cover, I think, but we do have it very much consolidated and very much in working order with the 2-stage separation, one to abort and another to jettison the tower, which works out real well, especially considering it brings the part count down immensely. No other changes were made to its weight or density or thrust or capabilities, other than just making it much reduced in part count, which is absolutely fantastic, because I do think that adding an additional 100 plus parts to this vehicle was more than a little troublesome as far as our frame rate and game stability was concerned. So now we have loaded in the previous save, and initially I was going to try to make some changes to the second stage, or the upper stage. Not the transfer stage, which is the codenamed Echo. This would be the RS-25 stage that takes over after the core has burned out and the boosters are all depleted. Currently, it is powered by 5 RS-25 DEs, runs for about 4 minutes, and gives us a little north of 2,400 or so meters per second. I really wanted to know if there was any optimizations we could do here, or any changes that we could make to make this stage a little bit more effective. It is the first place where the TWR really drops off, and doesn't actually recover before the stage is fully spent. We do have some new engines unlocked, namely the BE4 and the RD-180. So I wanted to just kind of poke around at this stage and see if we couldn't get a similar Delta V figure with similar or less tonnage with maybe a better thrust to weight ratio. And well, first we tried the BE4. This is of course a Methalox engine, so we were going from Hydrolox to Methalox. And to get a similar TWR, we were looking at 3 engines instead of the 5 RS-25s, although that doesn't do us a whole lot of favors and is alarmingly heavy. Even after shrinking the stage to get somewhat similar tonnage figures, we were just way under on delta V in performance. If we wanted to keep similar delta V numbers, we were up by a couple hundred tons, which is an effect we really don't want to stress the lower stage with, seeing as how it does its job, but it's kind of on the almost or barely territory. And I guess when you get into lifting this much tonnage to orbit, especially changes to an upper stage are particularly sensitive. So the BE4 was a no-go. We did try first to see what a upper stage of RD-172s would look like. And it was kind of the same story. Now this being a Keralox engine, which is even more dense. The thrust to weight numbers looked good, and we could get respectable DV out of it. It looked a little weird, but it was also many hundreds of tons heavier than the Hydrolox stage. We did do a quick comparison between the F1 and the F1A and the RD-172 engine, and just kind of figured out for the tonnage, the thrust, and the efficiency, the RD-172 is just a much more solid bet. So in order to push this upper stage, we figured we'd probably need 3 of them. I think 3 was actually a little bit overkill, but I'd rather be fast at this point. But it was the tonnage, the mass, that just made up the difference. The fuel is just so heavy compared to Hydrolox. Nothing is going to be as light as liquid hydrogen, really. So it was really trying to find more thrust to make up for it, but at the end of the day, the numbers just did not come together. And so despite having spent, I want to say, well more than 45 minutes poking at engines and changing fuel tanks around and just trying to adjust and make changes, we ended up going right back to the RS-25s. We did take a look at the 180, but basically it was figured out that since this is essentially half of a RD-170, and it's only good when you only need half of an RD-170. For its tonnage, if you need 2 of them, you might as well use an RD-170 because you'll get a little less thrust, but you'll save a lot in tonnage, something like 2 tons of engine mass, which is not insignificant, especially for an upper stage. So we did just kind of poke around at this for a little bit before reloading the craft file, getting the RS-25s back underneath it, and then taking it outside for a test run. Ah, thank God. Hooah. Alright, so we need to add... Alright, so you want to add the pre-burn to before 12. Add pre-burn before 12. Got it. And that's a booster SIP. Oh boy, what is... Oh no. Yeah, center of mass. Maker's Mark is solid, can't go wrong with that. Yep, nothing wrong with the Maker's Mark. Why, thank you. I appreciate y'all verifying my decisions here. Okay, so this is what? Oh, those fairing panel SEPs? What is going on with that one? You know what? We're just not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna dump it down to 12 per the builder's instruction. 20 engines on tower SEP, flat decouplers, shroud jettison. Got it. I just want to know what these 2 are. Maybe I have to kill some of your Kerbals. The ones that flew on X-Planes, Mercury and Gemini and First Apollo are in their 80s now. Jesus. Yeah, say Val is still here. She's been on active flight duty since 1951. She's got to be getting real tired of my crap. But she's still flying, so alright. Ignition.
I really want some bullet rye now. 10 minutes later, we'll have spool. Clamps off. And we're good. John Glenn flew when he was 77. He did indeed. Years ago, your brother was lucky enough to get some Van Winkle Family Reserve rye. Oh, wow. Yeah, $2 grand a bottle. Jesus. Yeah, that's lucky. I would have the best stream ever with just 2 fingers of Van Winkle. It's going to be a solid couple of minutes before we get around to our gravity turn here in 3 or 4 seconds per frame. I mean, I guess the frame rate is not terrible, it's the physics updating that's bad. Yeah, we're at about 4 seconds for us per second for Kerbals. KSP calculation model, calculating the 79 engines constantly at once. Should we go ahead and full thrust the tower just to see what happens and get rid of it, SimG? Spare ourselves some of the pain. Okay, alright, here we go. Pre-burn on the SEP tower. Tower jettison. Off and away. Oh! Well, that's very interesting. The second we need a tower to abort with. Chutes are armed. Jeez. Well, I guess we figured out what those other 2 decouplers were. I think the 2 decouples that I didn't know what they were actually booster SEP. What would have nominally been in that stage to begin with. Oh, really? Really? Oh, those were drogues hitting their auto-cut altitude. There's full deploy. And it's raining. Oh god, that huge cluster of engines going straight for the launch pad. This I need to see. Cluster GTFOing at 5Gs. Hey, there's a fairing floating down at roughly the same speed. Alright, we're going to revert to launch. Restart simulation. Alright, and KSP's gotta catch up to us here. It'll take a couple of minutes. Many apologies, everyone. Alright, but, you know, if we don't blow stuff up now... Alright, so here's pre-burn. Right. We'll fire those next. Alright, so some of these solid motors have got to be a booster SEP, and that sucks real bad. Because nothing... Ah, there. Let's create the stage. Yep, there's some booster SEP solids. Oh boy. There's some booster SEP solids. There's the clamps. That's the important part. There we go. Yeah, should have sorted this out in the VAB, because this is probably going to take some time here. These were, what, our second stage boosters? Okay, and that's all the grouped engines. So what are the... Oh, those are probably the tip motors? Whatever. Alright. And let's bring those down and just... can we verify that those are the... go sideways engines? Yes. 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 Excellent. No. What are you knowing? What did I know? Say that's our pre-bird, that's our tower abort, and that's our booster set. Everything should be clean now. Delay. We're delayed. We are delayed. I promise you, I'm not hitting SAS and setting the throttle to full just yet. Key in what you need, my friend. Ignition, pre-burn, tower set. Tower set with tippy motors. And this is all booster set. Go, go, go. Okay, delay, stop. Wait, yes, go, we're going. I'm going to give you, like, I know there's a stream delay, so I'm just going to say we're going, and I'm going to wait for a green light from chat. The anticipation. Go. Alright, ignition sequence start. Green board, go, go, go. Roger, roger. All engines are lit. Spooled up, clamps off. Something exploded. Alright. So I guess the plan, unless SimG tells me otherwise, is to pre-burn and then separate the tower just before we get to first stage booster set. Should we pull up FAR and see what max Q looks like? Pressure, that's what I was looking for. All the windows. We don't really need vessel info. Vesicle. Oh boy. And maybe we'll actually get all the way through a launch today. Dynamic pressure hits max and starts falling. It's max Q. Excellent. Just gonna start our lean in a little early. MIA will show as MIA opposed to dead, lost category, astronaut complex, right? I would assume. I've actually, I mean, both of the Kerbals that have died in this series are still listed MIA. KSP probably needs a separate processor to handle each engine. Oh god. I would need many, many, many more processors. But yeah, I guess it's doing a lot of math. 11 kilopascals. around 7 meters per second. 4 kilometers altitude. I'm not sure if we're leaning over too hard or not. Could be, but we're going to try to stay right at the bottom of that prograde vector, at least until we get to about the 45-degree mark. We need to make sure these boosters hit water and not the launch pad. It's very hard for me to watch the prograde vector and keep an eye on dynamic pressure. 23 and climbing. We're at 325 meters per second, so we're coming up on Mach. Well, we are actually above Mach 1 at altitude. Mach 1.09. 25 kilopascals. And climbing. Come on, we need to be leaned over quite a bit more than this by now. 25. And falling. Primary burn. Tower jettison. Shroud is clearing away. Yes! See you later, little guy. Excellent. To remind me, we're going to have to adjust the staging to do that in the VAB, so that becomes the default launch configuration for this vehicle. And wait till it's gone from the render range. That'll take minutes. I mean, there's the cloud from it. Man, we need to be pitched over quite a bit more. Yeah, 19 kilopascals and falling. We're going to get rid of flight data, if you don't mind. I mean, this space of the window and all this inky black sky is just way more valuable to see, I guess. Mach 2. Let's make all those Kerbals MIA, and I mean retirement. So 4 Kerbals we killed are listed as dead, so we won't distinguish them. Fair enough. I mean, MIA, AWOL, whichever. Make reputation plummet, so you have to cheat it back. Oh yes, I forgot about the reputation plummet. Ouch. Fell down dangerously close. You'll probably want a few more engines fired to detach it. Doggos approve. System was rated for 90 kilopascals. Oh wow. So yeah, we were almost a quarter of that. Coming up on first stage booster SEP. Let's let this slide back into the prograde vector. First stage boosters off and away. Get clear, my heavy friends. Do so without crashing the game, please, and thank you. Excellent. Clear. How do you make them go MIA? I don't know. The only 2 Kerbals I've killed are listed as MIA, and they are most certainly dead. But I'm not too familiar with the mechanics of how disappearing Kerbals works in 1.2.2. Perhaps it's 80 kilometers. We definitely need to be pitched a lot lower than this, but it's very difficult to do at such a abysmal frame rate, abysmal physics rate, really. It's that occasional garbage collection stutter messing things up, but the animations are running okay.
just you know, still at about 4 seconds for us per 1 second per Kerbal. Yeah, the dogs are yelling at somebody. It's probably the Amazon delivery guy, because our dryer broke on Friday. The replacement part should be here today. So that's where my evening will be. Got booster SEP. LES is unplayable for now. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I guess ideally we would still have it right up until, I would say core SEP. I wouldn't call it unplayable. We're definitely able to play, and I don't know if that's what created the crash before or not. It could have just been memory overrun from something entirely different. I had the game going for probably 20 or 30 minutes before the stream started, trying to get some things settled away. Alright, 122, yeah, we need to be a whole lot lower, I guess. We do want to lob high because of our low TWR on our RS-25 stage. 79 engines, what else could it be? Me having a couple other things running in the background. Not that I'm rendering a video or anything. That would have made this entire rocket unflyable, but apparently it's a permadeath difficulty setting. If I understand it correctly. You can't have MIAs and KIAs in the same save. Oh, interesting. So I definitely have permadeath or enabled here, or rather, missing Kerbals do not respawn. I don't know, maybe when we're done with the simulation we should drop by the astronaut complex and check. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Alright. Still only a minute 37 from Apogee. That's very interesting. We need to buy 5 minutes of lead time for that RS-25 stage to do its work. I'm not sure if it ever gets up to 1, but I don't know. These numbers being accurate, that puts us at like what, 55, 678, which might be orbital. That's barely orbital, considering if we didn't have to fire off prograde at all, which we absolutely will. So I think we're still going to need a little tap from our Echo upper stage to actually hit orbit. Mr. SEP. I should have turned on the radiators. I should have turned on the radiators a long time ago. Dang it. Dang it. I wonder how much we boiled off because of that. I guess, we did see a little liquid hydrogen boil off. Did these even get kicked on? No, they didn't, because I am a stupid. There we go. There's that. MAs also appear when they die in background, I think. Like, crashing the celestial body when unloaded. Huh. Ah, okay, yeah, no. It took me a while to interpret, or to translate that in my head, what you meant. But yeah, if a Kerbal ship on an intercept course hits something when not active vessel, they come up as MIAs. That makes sense. Alright, minute 48 here. Time to apogee is slowly falling, but we're probably just going to keep this heading. most of the rest of this trip to orbit. Like I said, we need to buy time for those RS-25s to work. That's those fairings, that fairing, those, and these ignitions. We actually don't need that fairing to go. Save on our distributed part count here. Looks like sounding rockets are back on the menu. What is this time? Crude. One hell of a sounding rocket. Hey, we can see the reflection of our engine flare over there with all this algae off the coast of Florida. Very interesting indeed. Alright, we're totally going to finish out this test. I don't care if we run long or not. FAR is only useful when you are in the atmosphere, so we can get rid of that window. Probably could have gotten rid of it a long time ago. Okay, good. Our time to apogee is climbing. That's fantastic. We are going to get up to about 210 or so kilometers altitude. That'll go up significantly. Alright, so... steering losses. Ugh. So that's at 5 degrees. We're at like, what, 18 or so. We'll just round a bunch and say 10 degrees of off prograde. You're about to make an RSS KSP save. What version would you recommend? 1.31 if you want to use realism overhaul. 1.45 if you're going to use Smurf. I think realism overhaul and RP-0/RP1 are only updated for 1.31 currently. I think you can get RSS working in things as new as like 1.5, although I'm really not sure. Don't hold me to that statement. You're going to need a BFF-sized sounding rocket for this. Using Smurf on 1.61, not having any issues. Oh, awesome. So there you go. Smurf will work on RSS for 1.61. That's pretty cool, because there were significant bug fixes in later releases that I really can't wait to take advantage of. It's just going to be a good long while before RP-0 is updated for that stuff. Alright, and engine cutoff, staging, ignition. Probably use a little more authority on those set motors. A lot of tonnage to move around. Alright, so I guess we should just let ourselves fall back a bit. 2 minutes, 8 seconds. So we're basically going to fall for almost 2 minutes. But we could get a lot more efficient use of our DV this way, even if we fall back a bit. Oh yes, and also I am missing Ceres, Vesta, and 5 major moons of Uranus. These are all true things. More stuff I can't wait to take advantage of. Should it become easily available, and should this install become unplayable, because I think I'm just going to stick it out with this thing until the wheels fall off the bus. I keep getting there anyway. Never say never. When I started this RSS playthrough, I had only actually been to the moon once, and that was as far as I had ever gotten in RSS. Like, ever. So, like, all of this is me learning how to play this game, and being somewhat terrible at most of it, for the record. Never say never. Panel deploy. 2, 3, 4, and what are these for? No, not those 4. Those panels should have... I mean, ideally they deploy when you jettison the launch escape system. Oh god, no, no, no. Okay. We scraped some paint, but everything's okay. Everyone's fine. The ejection power needs to come up a little bit. Or maybe we just hang on to them for a little while longer. They don't weigh that much. You got in an orbit, and then you made a rocket for the moon. Didn't know what all it. Oh, we've all been there. Before your RP-0 save, I hadn't completed a cruise mission anywhere beyond the Kerbal system. Indeed. If you scrape off paint, that's why I wanted to jettison them. In the old launch escape system, they actually jettisoned when you ditch the tower. Those panels would pop off also, so they actually should have been gone for quite a while now. But yeah, it does up the DV a little bit. Oh, you hadn't been anywhere beyond the Kerbal system. Oh, see, when in stock KSP, before I started playing RSS, I'd been everywhere. I put a Kerbal down on every rock I could. I brought most of them back. Tyloo and Eve being the exceptions. But yeah, before I started putting things on YouTube, I hadn't really done a whole hell of a lot in RSS. Kerbal? I said rock. Mech Jeb is stuck on lathe currently. Well, at least he's got air to breathe. He'll be fine. That whole moon is just one big beach resort. Exactly. He's enjoying it there. It has a nice view. Exactly. Minute 42. We have a minute 40 of runtime, so let's go ahead and just fire this thing down the horizon. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting to orbit on this stage, unfortunately. Alright, so that's that SIP and that. And then HG3 ignition. Those panels probably need to stay put. Those panels don't need to go anywhere. Alright. 4,700 in our Echo upper stage. That should be enough to get us to Mars or Venus without any problems, and hopefully begin a capture maneuver there. Gavin Red, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. We're still yellow clocking it. This 10-minute launch has taken 25 minutes already. Fantastic. I guess we know what's going to get sped up. We'll accelerate the footage into real time. Somewhat. Doing well, done with housework. I'm glad you caught your stream. Working through the YouTube videos. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad you could make it by. Also, glad you got done with your housework first. I spent most of the morning doing housework also. And sneezing a lot, and I've got a dryer to fix when we're done here. It never ends, it never ends. But I hope you're enjoying the YouTube stuff. It's a lot of fun making these. Trying to perfect your gaming/streaming room. Awesome. Reasons 1 through 10 why I don't have a webcam. I refuse to clean this room or shave my face. So I commend the effort you're putting into it, sir. Alright. And 7,500. Come on. Nope. Still just a little shy of orbit.
Ignition on the HT3. I should have action grouped the solar panel deploy. RCS to arm. Whoa there, buddy. Slow it down there, cowboy. There we go. I mean, really, this is just a little tap off these engines to hit orbital speeds. Extend. Extend. Oh, this is awesome. Self-care comes last when you're playing KSP. Indeed, indeed. Let's say KSP is self-care. Alright, let's... come on. If you could just bring that periapsis above the atmosphere, that'd be real nice. That'd be swell. There we go, shutting down. 476 by 149. Not terrible. Not the worst orbit ever either. 4,569 meters per second left in this Echo upper stage. Activate radiators. Things to add to action groups. Let me write this down with my fat Sharpie since somebody keeps stealing my pens. Radiators to HE. Solars to action group. What else do I need to consider here? Try putting together a stable 1.6.1 modded game. Especially with RP-0, RP-1. Yeah, it took me a very long time to build a save that was quote-unquote stable. Still not the most stable thing ever, but it does work. It has worked. It's only tried to die a few times. And yeah, that was a solid full weight test. And, oh good, none of the thrusters up top are firing. Perfect. I was going to say I need to make sure I lock those tanks. They are, in fact, locked. That is brilliant. Alright, so let's just deploy this thing and show off the rest of the spacecraft. Because why the hell not? What is... No, seriously. You need to be way down here. Okay, that's that one. Okay, yeah. That separates the service module. Oh! Fuel down here is not locked. That is very interesting. These little guys need to be locked. KSP can't be stable. It won't be KSP. Fair. Where are you going, homie? Yeah, if you could just not do that, that'd be great. Excellent. I should put a docking port on here just so I could practice that. Although not the greatest thing in the world. 106057, fully fueled. Excellent. None boil off to orbit. Radiators functioning perfectly. That's awesome. And really, 3960, that went up? Wasn't that showing like 3200 before? I'm gonna have to go back and check the tapes. Stable, never heard that word before. True that, true that. Alright, and so just a quick verification that all thrusters do fire. Yes. Roll, roll. These thrusters still not responding to roll inputs, and that upsets me greatly. Yeah, let's just make sure we can still ullage this thing. Just a quick verify. Sorry for the wasted time. None wasted time at all. Very stable. Ignition. No, we're not going to ignition. Alright, now let's try ignition. Yeah, probably need to move those up into the engine bells proper. Because we're, yeah, deorbiting. See you later, upper stage, still firing your thrusters for no conceivable reason whatsoever. Very good. 13 seconds left on this simulation. Revert to the VAB. So the DV looks good, the craft looks good, the abort modes are finalized. It
passed its reentry check, and I think we can go ahead and call this one good to go for production run. So we do need to adjust some of our support infrastructure, namely resupply pods are going to have to be probably re-outfitted and grossly enlarged and made to accommodate liquid liquid oxygen and kerosene, because we are now no longer dealing with fully storable propellants, violating my singular propellant rule that has served this series so incredibly well. So lots of big changes coming up, and we can fully expect this to make its maiden flight on our upcoming Mars window, which comes up in less than a year or so. We will be getting a crew out to Harmonia Station, and hopefully getting our surface base deployed and into action, farming some science and learning some things, and maybe trying to find a ancient lost rover or two. Who knows? Anyway, so we've gone ahead and ordered 2 of these, one for Mars, one for Venus, or hopefully one for Mars and one for a backup. Maybe, hopefully not. It's kind of tradition to always build 2 just in case you need a backup, and I have had many launch failures before, so it would not surprise me at all if something dumb were to happen. So, yeah, expect this maiden flight coming up in soon. Copyright. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.